My son called and said, "We changed the locks, don't bother coming back." I just chuckled and said, "We'll see about that." 3 days later, he got a letter from my lawyer, and he was stunned. But what happened after that truly terrified him, because Look, I'm gonna tell you something that'll probably sound crazy, but stick with me here. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who'll stab you in the back the deepest. And sometimes, just sometimes, karma comes around so fast, it'll make your head spin. I'm Bob Mitchell, 65 years old, and 3 weeks ago I thought I knew my son pretty well. Turns out I didn't know jack about him. So there I was, Tuesday morning, sitting at my kitchen table with this old coffee mug that's got more chips than a poker game. Helen, that's my late wife. She used to nag me about throwing the damn thing away. "Bob, it's an eyesore," she'd say. "But you know what? Some things you keep not because they're pretty, but because they're yours." The phone rings. Mike's name pops up. My son, 32 years old, married to Sarah for 5 years now, got two beautiful kids, Emma's 8 and little Jake's 6. Normal Tuesday call, right? Maybe wants to bring the grandkids over this weekend. Wrong. "Dad, we need to have a conversation." His voice. God, it was like talking to a stranger. Cold as January in Chicago. "Sure, son. What's eating at you?" "Sarah and I have been talking, a lot, about your situation." "My situation?" I'm thinking, what situation? I pay my bills, keep my house clean, hell, I can still bench press more than most guys half my age. "You're getting up there in years, Dad. What happens if you slip in the shower? What if you have a heart attack and nobody finds you for days?" Now, here's where it gets interesting. See, Mike's always been the type to build up to the punch. Even as a kid, he'd start with the small stuff before asking for money for a new bike or whatever. "Mike, I'm 65, not 95. I still drive, I still work out at Planet Fitness 3 times a week. Old Jerry Martinez down the street is 82 and he just ran a half marathon last month." "That's different, Dad." "How's it different?" Sarah's voice in the background then, sharp and pushy like always. Couldn't catch the words, but I knew that tone. That's the same tone she uses when she's returning something at Target without a receipt. "Look, we've found this great place called Sunny Meadows. It's got activities, meal plans, medical staff on site." Sunny Meadows? That dump 40 miles outside the city? "Mike, that place smells like disinfectant and despair." "It's not that bad, Dad. And here's the thing. We've already changed the locks on the house. Don't bother coming back." The words hit me like a freight train. But you know what happened next? I started laughing. Not the happy kind of laughing. The kind that bubbles up when something's so outrageous, your brain can't process it any other way. "We'll see about that," I said, still chuckling. "Dad, I'm dead serious here. We talked to a lawyer. With your age and Mom being gone, we can get guardianship if we need to. That house is too big for one person anyway. We need the space for the kids." "Oh, Mike," I said, shaking my head at the kitchen wall. "You beautiful, stupid boy. You have absolutely no idea what you just walked into." I hung up on him. First time in my life I'd ever hung up on my own son. Sat there for maybe 20 minutes, just staring at that chipped mug and thinking about Helen. She always said Mike got too comfortable expecting things to just work out for him. "That boy needs to learn the world doesn't owe him anything," she'd say after he'd pull some stunt in high school. Guess it was time for that lesson. Next morning, bright and early, I'm sitting in Margaret Stevens' office downtown. Maggie's been my lawyer for 15 years, sharp as a tack and meaner than a rattlesnake when she needs to be. Handled Helen's estate, helped me with some property investments, even got me out of that mess when the city tried to say my fence was 6 inches over the property line. "Bob," she says, looking up from her computer, "you look like someone just told you Santa Claus isn't real." Worse, my son thinks he can steal my house. I laid out the whole story, the phone call, the threats, the changed locks. Maggie just listened, taking notes in that chicken scratch handwriting of hers. Bob, refresh my memory here. When you and Helen bought the house back in '89, how was the deed set up? Joint tenancy with rights of survivorship. When Helen passed, it became mine free and clear. And Mike's name is on the deed. Where exactly? It's not. Why would it be? That's when Maggie got this look on her face. You know the look a cat gets when it spots a mouse? Yeah, that one. Because your son just committed about 4 different crimes and doesn't even know it. She started pulling out law books, making phone calls. Within 2 hours, she had enough paperwork to bury Mike and Sarah under an avalanche of legal trouble. Trespassing, illegal entry, attempted theft, and here's the beautiful part, extortion. He threatened you with false guardianship claims to steal your property. That's a felony, Bob. 3 days later, Mike got his letter. Tom Bradley from across the street called me, laughing so hard he was snorting. Bob, you gotta see this. Mike's standing in your driveway looking like he just got hit by a truck. He keeps reading this letter over and over, and his face is getting redder by the minute. What's he doing now? Calling someone. Wait, now Sarah's coming out of the house. Oh man, she looks like she's about to throw up. My phone started ringing about 10 minutes later. Mike's name, but I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again. And again. By the 4th call, I figured I'd had enough fun. Hello, Michael. Dad, what the hell is this legal document? Watch your language, son. This says you're suing me for, Jesus, extortion? Dad, I'm your kid. And that house is my property. Property you broke into and illegally changed the locks on. Property you tried to steal from me using threats. I wasn't trying to steal anything, I was looking out for you. Looking out for yourself, more like it. I could hear Sarah crying in the background, that high-pitched wailing she does when things don't go her way. Dad, we can fix this. We don't need lawyers involved. Actually, we do. See, here's what you didn't bother to find out before you pulled your little stunt. That house isn't just where I live, it's an income property. I've been renting out the basement apartment for 2 years now. Dead silence. My tenant is Jessica Chen, lovely girl, pays me $900 a month. She's in law school, studying to be a prosecutor actually. Real smart cookie. When you changed those locks, you didn't just lock me out, you locked her out too. We didn't know. Course you didn't. You know why? Because in 5 years of marriage, you and Sarah have been to my house exactly 7 times. 7, Mike. So don't tell me you were worried about my well-being. Dad. Jessica called the police when she couldn't get into her apartment. Officer Rodriguez was very interested to learn that someone had changed the locks on a property they didn't own. That's when things got really interesting. The silence stretched so long I thought he'd hung up. There's more, isn't there? He finally whispered. Oh, there's so much more. See, you assumed I'm just some broke old man sitting on a valuable house. But Mike, I've been very careful with money since your mother died. That house is worth $400,000 now, free and clear. My retirement accounts are doing better than most people's regular income. I've got more money than I know what to do with. Dad, please. And now I know exactly what to do with some of it. I'm hiring the best lawyers money can buy to make sure you understand that respect isn't something you inherit, it's something you earn. Next morning, there they were on my front porch. Mike looking like a whipped dog, Sarah clutching his arm like she was drowning. I'd been expecting them. Maggie called to say they'd contacted her office practically begging for a meeting. I opened the door and really looked at my son. When did he get so soft? When did his eyes get so calculating? This wasn't the kid who used to build blanket forts in my living room. Come in, I said. They sat on my couch like they were afraid it might bite them. Sarah kept looking around the house like she was seeing it for the first time. Hell, maybe she was. Dad, we screwed up, Mike started. That's the understatement of the century. We thought. Sarah's been reading these articles online about elder abuse, about kids who don't take care of their aging parents. We thought we were being responsible. By stealing my house? Sarah spoke up then, voice all shaky. Mr. Mitchell, we really believed we were helping. The house is so big and you're all alone. Sarah, sweetheart, let me ask you something. In 5 years of being married to my son, how many Sunday dinners have you had at this table? She blinked. Well, we've been so busy with work and the kids. I'll tell you. 0. Not one. You know, when I see my grandchildren? Christmas, Easter, maybe a birthday party if it's convenient for you. That's it. Mike's face went red. Dad, that's not. Not what? Not true? Mike, Tom Bradley across the street sees me more than you do. Jessica downstairs has dinner with me twice a week. The guys at the gym call me Coach Bob because I help them with their workouts. These people care about me because I care about them. What do you want from us? Sarah asked, tears starting up again. I looked at them both, really looked. My son and his wife, sitting in my living room, finally understanding they'd bitten off more than they could chew. I want my son back, I said quietly. The one who used to call me just to tell me about his day. The one who brought his kids over to teach them how to fish in my backyard pond. But I don't think that person exists anymore. Dad, here's what's gonna happen. You pay for new locks, the right locks, installed by my locksmith. You apologize to Jessica and pay her moving expenses if she wants to leave because of this mess. You pay my legal fees, all of them. And then? Then maybe we start over. But Mike, understand something. I'm not the same man who used to bail you out of every stupid mistake. You want back in my life? You earn it. They left after that. I watched through the window as they drove away, Sarah crying, Mike's knuckles white on the steering wheel. Week later, my phone rings. Emma, my granddaughter. Grandpa Bob, Daddy says we can't visit you anymore. Broke my heart into a million pieces. Why's that, sweetheart? He says you're really mad at us. Are you mad at me and Jake? No, baby girl. I love you and your brother more than all the stars in the sky. Then why can't we come over? I miss your pancakes. I had to sit down. Sometimes grown-ups make really big mistakes, Emma. And sometimes those mistakes hurt people we love. Did you make a mistake, Grandpa? I don't think so, sweet pea. But your daddy thinks I did. Mommy's been crying a lot, and Daddy sits in his room staring at his computer. After I hung up, I just sat there in Helen's old recliner, staring at the walls. House felt bigger somehow, quieter. But it was my quiet, my choice. 4 months now since that phone call. Haven't heard from Mike once. Tom tells me they're renting some cramped apartment across town, that Sarah's working extra shifts at the hospital. Part of me feels bad, but a bigger part knows sometimes people need to face what they've done. Last Tuesday, I'm at Kroger buying groceries when I bump into Sarah in the frozen food section. She looks exhausted, older. When she sees me, she starts to turn away, then stops. Mr. Mitchell, how are you? I'm doing fine, Sarah. You look tired. The kids ask about you every day. Emma drew you a picture for your birthday last month, but Mike, he wouldn't let her send it. Tell her I said thank you anyway. Sarah nodded, then looked down at her cart full of generic brands and store coupons. Mike's been different since all this happened. Quiet. I think he's starting to realize what he threw away. Is he happy, Sarah? Really happy? She was quiet for a long time. I don't think any of us are happy right now, Mr. Mitchell. But maybe that's what we need to figure out how to be better people. Tonight I'm sitting here with that old chipped mug, thinking about making a phone call. Not to apologize, hell no. But maybe to see if my son's ready to be the man his mother always knew he could be. Because here's the truth about family. It's not about blood or houses or inheritance. It's about showing up. It's about respect. It's about understanding that love isn't a free pass to treat people like garbage. Mike thought he could push me around because I was his father, because family meant I'd always be there no matter what. But family's a two-way street. And sometimes the people who love you most are the ones who have to teach you the hardest lessons. I pick up the phone, then put it down. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe when he's ready to listen. Maybe when I'm ready to see if there's anything left of the boy I raised. The house is quiet, but it's not empty. It's full of memories and choices and the kind of peace that comes from standing up for yourself when it really counts. And you know what? That's enough for tonight. That's more than enough.